A Jewish man has accused the Metropolitan Police of two-tier policing after officers threatened to charge him for waving an Israeli flag during a Palestine Action protest in central London. Isaac Grant has told GB News that he and a friend were surrounded by 40 to 50 hostile protesters in Trafalgar Square who allegedly assaulted the pair as they carried an Israeli flag. The incident occurred during a demonstration that saw hundreds gather in support of Palestine Action as they faced prescription as a terror group, with 13 arrests made and several officers assaulted. It was supported by 35 groups, including Stop the War Coalition, and culminated in Trafalgar Square after police enforced an exclusion zone across much of Westminster. Grand also accused the police of doing nothing as protesters displayed red triangle stickers, which he described as death threats that indicate support for Hamas. The Metropolitan Police defended their officers' actions, stating, "When two counter-protesters started waving an Israeli flag and shouting on a megaphone, they surrounded them too. Officers intervened to protect the two men. They were held for their own safety and not because they committed a crime." Metropolitan Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley has expressed that he was shocked and frustrated about the demonstration, describing Palestine Action as an organised extremist criminal group. The rally in support of the pro-Palestine group comes after Palestine Action activists broke into the RAF Prize Norton base, where they spray-painted military planes red in protest against UK support for Israel. Appearing on Patrick Christie's Tonight, Isaac Grant told GB News that Palestine activists make London an unsafe place for anyone with a contrary opinion to theirs.
So the police basically threatened you with arrest for waving an Israeli flag, is that right?
That's completely correct. We were there with a friend of mine. We waved an Israeli flag. We said, "Glory to Britain, jihad us out of here," etc., etc. And at that point, we're surrounded by 40, 50 people from Palestine Action, who's soon to be categorized as a terrorist organization. And as we're surrounded, they get increasingly violent, increasingly hostile. They try and steal our flag from us. They start to push us around. And the police really just watch us quite from afar. And it is at that point they get increasingly violent and the police are forced to intervene. When we're pulled away inside of a bus, the police sergeant on the scene essentially tells us that we're basically in breach of the peace and that we're on the verge of being given a public order offence. Now, as a legal barrister, I kind of, in training, I recognised that what was going on here wasn't really quite right, and I put that to the police officer in the video.
You said in that video, I think we might have picked it up, it's not a criminal offence, is it? Now, unless I'm mistaken, Isaac, the response that you got was, "It's not, but it is now."
That's exactly right, and that's what it is. It seems to be that they're policing an opinion that they don't like. And I said that's not good enough for the policing. They should be policing the people that were violent towards us. But that doesn't seem to be the response from the police. The police sergeant on the scene said, we just can't do it. And that is two-tier policing. They're very happy to police the meek, to police those like me that are law-abiding. But those who are violent, the police seem to be quite scared of and unwilling to enforce the letter of the law. That is two-tier policing.
And are you saying that the police had seen you be attacked?
That's right. We were pushed around, assaulted. I'm sure it has to be on body cam footage. They can see our flag being ripped apart away from us. There's a plethora of, criminal offences there, alleged criminal offences there. And it just seems there's a complete unwillingness to enforce the letter of the law.
Do you attend a lot of these demonstrations?
I've attended my fair few.
What's it like then? So do you always go equipped with an Israeli flag? What are you usually met with? What kind of things have you seen and heard at these demonstrations?
No, I've always been on the Israeli side. I've occasionally, had a glance at what's going on the other side to shock and horror. They're generally quite fearful and scary. And the Jewish community has been, terrified of this mob that seems to have free reign over all of London most weekends. But, on the Israeli side, it's all good vibes. If the same incident happened at a pro-Israel march, I can guarantee you your flag wouldn't be ripped apart, you wouldn't be assaulted, you wouldn't have any of these things that happened to the two of us.
Is the implication here from you, look, we are obviously at some point going to read out a statement from the Metropolitan Police, but is the implication from you that it's easier for the Metropolitan Police to be more heavy-handed with the Jews because essentially you're less trouble?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Right. What do you think should be done about that?
I think policing just needs a revamp in this country. It's gone to an astounding level where it seems that our rights to protest, to freedom of speech, to live a normal life as a Jewish person, as a British person, is at risk. We aren't able to voice our rights the same way that a pro-Palestinian person can be.
Well, we saw some ridiculous characters at that march, the pro-Palestine Action march, correctly said there by Isaac, seemingly about to be a proscribed group. There was an individual who was dressed up as a fake, concentration camp survivor. Just a couple of days before that, there'd been another march in the streets of London where someone had held up a picture of the Ayatollah with "Choose the right side of history" on it there. Those people remained resolutely untroubled by the Metropolitan Police, it would appear. However, your allegation is that simply by being in the vicinity of those people with an Israeli flag was almost a criminal offence.
It's a shocking double standard. I mean, the Met Police seems to characterise me as some right-wing extremist hooligan, whilst they tacitly are enabling those that have the most extreme political opinions possibly on the planet. I mean, to support the Ayatollah, a regime that, has been involved in the worst atrocities against women for refusing to wear a hijab, it's beggars belief. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. I mean, they were putting up red triangle stickers which indicate support of Hamas, and the police did absolutely nothing.
So just to explain to some of our viewers and listeners here, what does that mean then, those red triangle stickers? Why is that so important?
So those red triangle stickers are used as an indicator of the military wing of Hamas to show their targets. And they littered them all over, around the bus, around the park, around Trafalgar Square. And it is a tacit death threat.
Right, and the police didn't seem to do too much about that.
They did absolutely nothing.
Can I just ask a broader point, really? Do you think that Britain, and London specifically in this case, is a safe place still for Jewish people?
No, absolutely not. And I don't think it's a safe place for anyone who has a contrary opinion to the pro-Palestinian mob.
Right, OK. I mean, look, are you going to continue to go to these things?
I think we have to. The only way we can get our rights back is to fight for them. And I think Britain is worth fighting for.
Because that does appear to be a slight marked contrast, if I may, on some of these things. I have seen numerous clips of people on the Israeli side, as it were, singing things like "God Save the King" as well after that. So there is very much a patriotism there that perhaps you don't see on the other side.
Absolutely. We were singing "Rule Britannia" just yesterday, and we were very proud to be British. Many of us, our grandfathers and great-grandfathers died in the Second World War fighting for Britain, fighting for freedom. And it's quite sad that it seems to be that legacy is being taken away from us, our right to live peacefully as Jews. I mean, we had a Jewish prime minister here in the Victorian era. I mean, this was really a safe haven for Jews.
All right. Well, Isaac, thank you very much for coming in, and take care. All the best. Nice to meet you, and stay safe. Isaac Grand there, who of course went through that ordeal. Got a statement here from the Met Police. This was a challenging protest which saw 13 arrests, a number of officers assaulted. When two counter-protesters started waving an Israeli flag and shouting on a megaphone, they surrounded them too. Officers intervened to protect the two men. They were held for their own safety, not because they committed a crime. Had the situation been reversed, with 500 pro-Israel supporters and 2 pro-Palestinians, the officers would have done the same thing. That's, of course, what the Metropolitan Police have said, anyway.